Good evening. Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's Thursday night. It's me, Phil. I'm stepping in for Tom tonight. We've got an away fan chat and we're doing it live tonight. So we want to get your views in, your comments in. Obviously, it's Leicester against Manchester City on Saturday. We're all looking forward to it. It's the early 12:30 kickoff. Are you going to the game? What do you think's going to happen? What did you think to Brendan's press conference today? We're going to be joined by Martin from the Mancunian way in a couple of minutes. Before we kick off, it is 4 days, very, very sadly, 4 years to the day today since we lost our great leader, Vichai. So we just wanted to start off the show. Obviously, we'll all be thinking about top today, Vichai, and everybody at the club who was connected to it. And everybody, all the fans, we know that obviously many of you were at the ground before the tragedy happened. And we know that it still affects lots of people day to day. So we just wanted to start tonight's show off with that. Again, thinking of you all, tremendous moments down there. I know there was the memorial side that went on today. Leaving that aside, we are going to now move on and chat with Martin. So I'm going to bring Martin in. Let me know if you've got any comments, any questions. Jack says RIP Vichai in there. Thanks, Jack, for that. Whether you're a Man City fan or a Leicester fan, Jack Lee says here, hello, lads. Manchester City fan here. Great to get Martin on. It'll be a tough game, this one. I'm glad you have improved in form. Maddison versus De Bruyne will be an interesting battle. Let's get Martin's views on that one. Let's start. Good evening, Martin. How are you?
Good evening. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Thanks for having us.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Just before we start, Martin, just tell us which fanzine you're from, the Mancunian way?
Yeah, the Mancunian way. We're on YouTube. Been going just over a year now. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the moon, everything.
And obviously enjoying what's going on at Manchester City. We are going to talk about Haaland, obviously, whether he'll play, whether he won't play. I just want you to react to Jack, who's a Man City fan, says here, it's going to be an interesting one with Maddison and obviously Kevin De Bruyne on there. Both quality midfielders and both playing really quite well at the moment, Martin.
Well, Maddison is KDB sort of in and out at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah. He's sort of KDB does this every year. Starts off slow, and then by about January, he's sort of firing on all cylinders. Then, but that's generally what happens with our team. Full stop. Anyway, at the moment.
Yeah, because it's sort of. I mean, you've in the just focusing on the Premier League. Obviously, at the moment, you've sort of played 11 games. You've won 8, drawn 2, lost 1. Don't get me wrong, Martin. Leicester would love to have that record at the moment, but. Obviously, you lost to Liverpool the other week. It's not that slow a start, is it? Or are you feeling, it just takes us a few weeks to get going?
We're not talking about the Liverpool game because I'll start on one of the rants that
I know how to wind you up now.
Yeah, the Liverpool game's another situation. Hey, but listen, it is what it is. I'm not going to go down that road. But no, normally we do start quite slow. The last time we started like this is when we had the Centurion season, the 100-point season. So, hey, listen, if we can repeat anywhere close to that, fantastic. But listen, to me, we're in a really good position. We're better off than what we have been the last couple of years, and we still won the league. So, it's the way Pep does it. He starts off slow, and then by about January, February is when we go into fifth gear, and then we sort of pull away from the pack then.
Built up. Are you worried of talk? I mean, Jack there asked about De Bruyne. He talked about Maddison. From an outsider's point of view, what's your take on James Maddison? Obviously, he was compared at the same level as Jack Grealish, who you obviously went on to spend a lot of money on. But Maddison is doing it week in, week out for us at Leicester. I'm interested to hear what you think about him.
It's a weird one because I think the speculation with Arsenal and Newcastle clearly had a bit of an effect on him. I think what happened, because obviously I'm looking at it from an outsider's point of view, what's kind of happened in the summer and what's going on with Brendan Rodgers and everything else, I think it's just all had a little bit of an impact to give you that slow start. But, the last few weeks he's come back into form again and he's right up there, definitely.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Andy says here, I'm more worried about Bernardo Silva.
Than who? KDB?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a statement. But the
I mean,
best midfielder in the world. I'd be more worried about Kevin De Bruyne than I would be. Listen, to me, what we've got at the moment is every team worries about Haaland, or they worry about KDB, or they're worried about Bernardo Silva. And what's happening is, what we're seeing a lot of our games is a lot of defenders are going to Haaland, and that's freeing up Kevin for more space. Then they go to Kevin, and that frees up Haaland, or it frees up Bernardo Silva. And the trouble is with Bernardo Silva is like a Duracell bunny. He doesn't stop. I mean, he just broke the kilometre record in the Premier League again last week. The guy is just, he will run all day for you.
He's a real little dynamo for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just mentioned Haaland there. That is obviously, I mean, the whole of the media is talking about how fantastic he's been, and quite rightly so. He's been astonishing, Martin. What's been your take on him this season?
He's doing exactly as what we all predicted he would, really. You just look at his record. I mean, a lot of us are just so glad we never got Kane, and we were patient and we waited.
Oh, it feels like, Martin, it sounds like we've just lost your stream there. I'm just going to get some comments in while we wait for Martin to rejoin us. Carl is saying, sorry, Martin, we just lost you there. I'll bring you back in a second. Carl said, isn't Haaland injured? Well, Carl, I think Martin might be able to give us an update on that. Sorry, Martin, we just lost you there, mate, because of your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, after them.
Go on. You were just saying about Haaland, you were pleased that you didn't get Harry Kane, you were patient.
Yeah, to me, I mean, we said it on our channel about a year ago. This was the guy we always wanted. He's got the background of City. His dad was at City. He grew up as a City fan. He's just, you can see in his face, he enjoys football. He loves football. And he gives us something different. There's been so many, when you go back to last season, I remember a game away at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. We had like 32 chances, and we were just putting the ball across the box, the 6-yard box, and there's nobody there to finish it. And now you've got Haaland who just eats them all up.
I mean, it's been interesting watching you guys, Martin, over the last few years, because like you say, you've almost not played with a striker over the years. You've sort of played with a false nine at times. And I guess you've had great success with that over the last few years, but it's almost like you've stuck an excellent striker in there, and it's the missing bit of the jigsaw that nobody really knew. Did you know you got a missing bit of the jigsaw?
Yeah. We knew that, like I said, we had games where we went 32, 35 shots, chances, and we just didn't put the ball in the net. And we always said, even though we won the league with a false nine, you were having to get other players like De Bruyne, Mahrez, everything else to become involved in the game, and you're expecting them to score when that wasn't their job. You were asking Sterling to start doing stuff that wasn't his job. So now you've got Haaland, everyone else can now just do their natural jobs instead of having to rely on them breaking from late and scoring goals.
I mean, and you can see from the stats, obviously Haaland, I think in the Premier League alone has scored about 17 goals, but then it's a massive drop-off this year to the next Man City players who've scored. I mean, Phil Foden's doing well with 6, and then you've got a bunch of people on 2 goals. So he really has, he's become your finishing machine, which leads me, Martin, onto the big question is he going to play on Saturday or isn't he? I think we were hearing today, yesterday sounded like he's not, and then today sounds like he may play.
I don't know. Pep has this way of playing him when you didn't expect. He's been very clever with him. Everyone had this idea of he was injury prone. And what nobody took a proper look at is Dortmund's injury record. Well, you know, Haaland, they all said Haaland's injury prone. The problem is Dortmund had about 10 or 11 players out injured all the time. That was more of their issues that they had at Dortmund. And what we've done now at City is there's now a relationship with the Norwegian physio for the national team that is now within Manchester City and deals with Haaland. So, you know, and not only, even if Haaland doesn't play, we've got an Argentinian Julian Alvarez to come in and will score the goals. So it's not so much a worry. We're not a one-man team. No, the stats probably show that, but we're not, because even when Haaland's been quiet in games, we've still scored goals and we've still created chances.
Derek says here, Martin, could Pep be playing a bit of mind games for the weekend? I can't see why he'd be playing mind games, in particular against Leicester.
He ain't Klopp. We ain't talking Klopp there. Klopp does mind games, Pep doesn't.
So he likes to play it nice and straight. Now, listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about Riyad Mahrez, who I am going to say is one of my all-time. I think he's one of the best players I've ever seen at Leicester City. Now,
Do
obviously,
you
you've
want
got
him
to
back?
remember,
No, I'm joking.
I would gladly have him back. I would gladly have him back. He's played 9 times for you in the Premier League this season, Martin. How's he faring for you at the moment? Has he got knocked down the pecking order a little bit?
No, because he started more games than what I thought he would.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been one of Riyad Mahrez's biggest fans going for the last few years, but he blows hot and cold.
Yes, he does.
Absolutely hot and cold. And the problem you've got is he is very one-dimensional. He cuts in off the right and he immediately tries to get to his left foot and he wants to shoot with his left foot. At times he's struggling to play a team game. It was very famous last year where De Bruyne rollicked him because told him straight, start passing. What you doing? And I understand that Leicester, there was a job at Leicester where he coming off the flank or the number 10, ball over to Vardy and through. That isn't the way we play. That isn't the way Pep plays. So, but after now, 6 years, 5 years, whatever it is, he's got to have adjusted by now. And with Mahrez, I love him, but he does take 1 step forward and 2 back. And that's what he's done this year. He's got a brand new contract and he seems to have stopped. Last year, he went back to his best, where he was phenomenal. But this year, he's just stopped everything that he sort of was doing last year. Now, whether that's because Haaland's come in, I don't know. For me, he looked better with a false 9 than he does with a striker. With a striker, he's struggling because his passing game is just not there at the moment, sadly for him.
Yeah.
Because it's predictable what he does. That's the issue with him at the moment. Defenders know how to defend him. Because you probably
show him the inside.
Show him inside, and that's it, because that's what he wants to come in and cut onto his left. And that's it. But the trouble is, defenders know what to do with that, and that's his game nullified.
And yet, Martin, he's played, like you said, probably a little bit more often this season than he has in previous seasons.
Yeah, he definitely has. Absolutely has. The thing is, this season's a long season. It's in 2 parts, in it, with a World Cup as a part 1, as a part 2. So I think Pep's managing his squad really well so far this year.
Yes, it's going to be a very strange one. None of us know what's going to happen, and it does feel like it is a season split in 2. Obviously, from Leicester's point of view, we've got 3 Premier League games left before the Qatar. Yeah, you on the same 3 Premier League games as well, Martin, left?
Yeah,
before
like
Qatar. Yeah. You must, in a way, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you must look at coming to Leicester, who at the moment are in the bottom 4 and not really in the same sort of form that we are. You must look at this weekend and potentially think this should be 3 points for you guys, don't you?
I don't think about that anywhere. If Haaland plays, it's a different thing, because I'm more confident when Haaland plays, because the guy will just score goals. He's an absolute goal machine. I think we're facing. I would have preferred to face Leicester a few weeks ago than now.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear all the rumours about Brendan, about Brendan, and would he might have gone in the summer, they had the money to get rid of him or whatever, and you hear about this. He suddenly starts speaking Spanish in the dressing room, and there's no Spanish players, and he wants to tell.
I haven't heard that one.
But it was a podcast I was listening to. Some said he was a Leicester. Can't remember what it was. A Leicester fan. He says there was this story this year that he started talking Spanish, and he's like, "You haven't got any Spanish players. What are you doing?" And then he was in someone went to the dressing room to talk to the player, and he sort of went, "Look, I've got a Gucci belt," and it's like,
yes,
what are you doing?
The Gucci belt, I believe is true. Yeah,
I don't know what he's. I mean, I got laughed at on our channel because I've always liked Brendan Rodgers, but when he was linked with us under Mancunian, he was coming in as his number 2, and that was the plan from Swansea, but he didn't take up the role for whatever reason. But to me, I'm confident in most games, but it'll be tough. It will be tough, but it depends on our start. If we start like we can do, if we come out the gates in the first 5 or 10 minutes, it could be a long afternoon for Leicester. because you can tell the way City play in the first 5 minutes.
Martin, I probably fancy us more against Man City than I do if we were playing one of the bottom teams. We are one of those clubs who like the big games the last year or so. So it could well be. Tony, who's a Leicester fan, says it. Does Martin think that Arsenal are a realistic threat with ex-Man City coach Arteta in charge? What's your views on that, Martin?
They're more of a threat than what I thought they were. I don't think they'll last out the season because we're in, October, and apparently they're already tired, mentally, physically, whichever way. But you can't be tired by October and then I'll go and face a Manchester City side come February who are chasing you down. I don't think that'll work. I'll be honest with you, as I said at the start, I think we'll win it by about 10 points. Maybe that was too optimistic, but I think Arsenal will last longer than people expect, but I don't think they'll last the course. I think they'll just tire out mentally.
Carl's having a little bit of a dig at you here, Martin, in the nicest way. He says, if it's close in January, Man City can always go and spend £200 million in the transfer window. Have you got your eye on somebody?
We hear all that all the time, but people forget that United spend more than us, pay more wages than us. Newcastle have spent more than us in the last couple of years. Everton have spent $500 million in the last how many years? And listen, we hear all the digs.
I know you do.
It just, we hear it all the time. But the problem is, City don't spend massive every year, and we don't even pay the massive wages like everyone thinks we do. That's the funny thing about it.
No, I know. Like you say, it's all the usual gags that go on here. A couple of quick questions before I let you go. Can you pick us a Man City player, maybe not one of the Haalands or whatever, somebody who you think, actually, this guy's going slightly under the radar and it has been playing really well for Man City, one we should perhaps watch out for, just out of interest in the team? I mean, obviously, I know Foden's doing well. I know all your players are stars, but is there somebody who you think, yeah, do you know
my
what?
standout player is this year?
Yeah, go on.
Nathan Acker. Because this is a lad who came in as a relatively backup centre-back.
Yes.
And in the summertime, there was that link with Chelsea, and apparently if Chelsea had put the right amount of bid in, we were going to let him go. But when he plays, he doesn't do anything wrong. He's like Mr. Reliable, and he loves being at the place. He doesn't complain when he's not playing, doesn't moan when things go wrong. I always remember last season with Aki when he played in a Champions League game on the day his father died.
Really,
he scored a goal. And to me, that showed a set of grapefruits of and you could see, to me, he is a model professional and very, very underrated. And to me, I'd have him in our back four week in, week out, because he doesn't do anything wrong. Plus, he covers Cancelo as well when he goes walkabout up the field.
So somebody came in as a sort of a semi backup, or somebody maybe on the bench, and he's really proving himself.
Akanji come in for what, 14 million quid? Even though we spend a lot of money, we went and bought Akanji for 14 million quid. But he's gone under the radar.
Yeah.
I mean, people have said to me about the signing of the season, and everyone's gone Haaland. At the moment, Akanji's the signing of the season. The guy's 14 million quid and he's fitted in. Like, you can't go to the Championship and buy a centre-back like that for 14 million quid. No, you can't do it.
Yeah, no, you're right there. You're right.
He's outstanding.
So that's a couple of good players for us to watch out for on Saturday. Martin, just before I let you go, what's, from your point of view, when you play Leicester, what puts maybe not fear into your whatever, because but is there a player from Leicester who you think we need to keep an eye on him?
Obviously, Maddison at the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely. The biggest thing I think for Leicester, what we've got to do is don't go there with an arrogance or a cockiness of we turn up and we win. We have to go there and give Leicester City the respect they deserve. I think every team, when you play away in any Premier League game, you've got to give the opposition respect.
Yeah.
You've got to turn round, because the crowd's going to be up for it. This is what some City fans have got to realise, is that when we go away now, we're a scalp for people. People want to beat us. And they will raise the game that extra 10, 15, 20%.
Yeah, it will do.
And to me, sometimes, like when we played Copenhagen away a couple of last week or the week before, it was we went there as though we'd already won it a little bit and a bit too relaxed. And I want to see us. I would prefer, I've always said this, I'd always prefer we go out 30 minutes at full pelt and get the game won than go out with this sort of arrogant, slow attitude. That's why I've always said the first 5-10 minutes is crucial to how, City are going to play. Because if City start creating chances from the off, they're in the mood. If they start knocking the ball backwards between the back line and the midfield for 10 minutes, you're like, they're not really up for this. You can tell the way they're going to do it. Really can. And it's because we either go for the throat straight away or we start playing pass ball at the back.
So it's going to be an interesting one, Martin. Just before I let you go, a score prediction, please. Who do you think is going to score the first goal? I.e., pick a player, and what's the final score going to be?
I'm going 3-1, sir. Manchester, sir.
Yeah, that's it. I know you lot always, that's something that bugs us Leicester fans and all other City fans. You always go City. Even the media do it, City. It's like there are more than one cities. But anyway, Martin, 3-1 to Man City. You could well be right. Who do you fancy for goals? I know obviously if Haaland's playing, I suppose that's a bit of a given, isn't it?
I think we'll go as strong as possible because I think the Wednesday night game against Seville's a dead rubber now. So I'm hoping to see some of the EDS lads and some of like the fringe players come in. So I think he'll go as strong as possible. No, I don't think Mahrez will play on Saturday because Pep's sort of not happy with Mahrez at the moment. He has said some words that Mahrez needs to buck up at the moment, really. Sadly enough, which he doesn't normally do. He doesn't normally come out in public and berate players like that. So Mahrez has kind of got under his skin at the moment. If Haaland plays, fancy Haaland, Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden.
Fantastic. Martin, listen, let everybody know what channels you're on again.
Yeah, the Mancunian way. We will be live this evening at 8:30. We've got a show. We're going to talk about the Champions League and the Super League possibly returning. And we're going to do our own Leicester City preview as well. So if any Leicester fans who are here want to come and join us later on, we'll be talking all Leicester City as well from the weekend.
Brilliant, Martin. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll enjoy the match on Saturday and we'll see you very soon. It's been great to have you on. You've spoke brilliantly. Thanks so much, Martin. Thank you so much. That's great to have Martin. He was brilliant, wasn't he? How good was he? It was lovely to hear his views. Dead honest. Lots of frank chat. Richie is saying 1-0 to Leicester. XXX is saying 4-1 to Man City, and he's a Leicester fan. So Nix is saying 3-2 to Leicester. Leicester always carry a threat, says Paul and Jack. Thanks for watching. Man City fan says 2-1 to Man City. Haaland and Foden and Maddison for Leicester. It's going to be a really interesting game on Saturday. Now, listen. If you want to, there's the weekly audio podcast that's out now. There's also Reedy and Sam have done a match preview that's up on the YouTube channel now. So go and check those out. And if you want to win a brand new Leicester City away shirt, stay tuned to Leicester Fan TV because in about 5-10 minutes now, we're going to be doing a competition. I'm going to start a new stream and we're going to be doing a competition to win an away shirt. You can choose which one you want. So from me, Phil, thanks so much for watching. Thanks again to Martin from the Mancunian Way. Make sure you go and follow them. Go and watch them at 8:30. They're talking all things Leicester on their channels. We'll see you very, very soon. Cheers.